So I'm the CEO of Alice, and we're what we call a blockchain philanthropy company. But just before I explain exactly what we do, may I ask who here works in the charity sector? If you could just raise your hand. Okay, so a fair few people. That's good. So the big problem that we set out to tackle, and I hope it's going to resonate with you guys in particular, is that there is a trend at the moment that there's a fall in public trust in the charity sector in general. It's a trend that's been going on for a few years. It's a trend that is accelerated from time to time with when the media start to focus their attention on certain charities that are not acting in an ethical way, for example, and it's certainly something that is becoming worrying. Partly because the Charity Commission last year recorded the lowest ever level of public trust in the charity sector in the UK. Partly because if you work in the charity sector, you know that your committed giving, that is the monthly giving where people just give without really thinking twice about it, that is starting to fall. The problem is that people like this are starting to become whipping boys and are really starting. These are the street marketers that everybody knows. They're famously called chuggers, who are sort of epitomizing this fall in public trust, which is a shame because actually they're quite nice. Actually, this guy got me to donate just because I was taking his picture. Assistant guy, but they're working for the greater good as well. But more seriously, this fall in public trust is something that the charity sector as a whole, certain bodies at least, are starting to see as a real existential threat for the business model of the sector because of this fall in donations. So that's why we decided to create Alice. So my background is in government and digital communications, and then I switched careers into charity tech. And one of the big problems that we saw was the fact that people didn't know what was being done with their donations. And really our mission statement is that we want to help, starting with the UK, these 160,000 or so charities that are doing an amazing job to raise more funds for all of the causes that they're serving, and in order to allow them to do that is to just make it easier for them to feed back to their donors what it is that the impact that they're making, essentially, because there's a real misperception or a disconnect between what charities are doing and the impact that they're making and the perception of the public of that impact. So we're working on several products in order to facilitate that, some of which I can't talk about yet, but the first one, which is now live and has been for the past few weeks, is a hyper-transparent donation platform, which is what we call it. It has its first appeal on there. It's run by St. Mungo's, the homelessness charity, and they are raising funds to help 15 rough sleepers in London do things like find accommodation and improve their mental and physical health. And when people donate on the platform, it actually comes with a twist in the sense that your money does not go directly to the charity. The charity first has to demonstrate that it is making an impact before they can receive the money. And that means that by tying or making donations conditional, you are effectively just making it easier for donors to keep track of the impact that their money is making. The way that it works is that, as I said, the funds are collected first, the charity then delivers the outcomes. Every outcome has to be validated. In this case, the Greater London Authority, the housing team, is looking at the proof of of how the St. Mungo's is helping these rough sleepers, whether that's a tenancy agreement or whether that's a note from the drug abuse rehabilitation program that some of these rough sleepers have entered. And as I said, there's an instant accountability every time an outcome has been achieved. Then the donors know that their money is paid out. They get notified, and they know exactly what their money is paid for. We use Ethereum. We build on the blockchain called Ethereum. It's a public blockchain. Who here has heard of Ethereum? Good. Oh my goodness. Like half an exchange in a year. It's amazing. Who here knows what smart contracts are? Okay, slightly less. Basically, we use smart contracts. Smart contracts are little programs that you can put on top of the blockchain. We use them to do two things. One is to collect and hold funds, and then the second thing is to define the conditions that allow the funds to be paid out. In this case, it's a validator communicating with the smart contracts and saying, this outcome has been achieved, please pay the charity. The reason that we use a public blockchain is because of the transparency that this brings. It allows anybody to audit the program, and obviously that is another level of transparency, another level of guarantee that the charity is acting in accordance with what it said it was going to do. There are challenges. I mean, I can only echo what was said by previous speakers about the ability of blockchain technology to operate at scale. We took the decision really early on that we weren't going to allow people to donate in cryptocurrencies. So actually on the website, and I encourage you, I'm going to give you the link in a second, but to donate and help these 15 rough sleepers. But you donate in fiat currency, so you donate with your debit or credit card. That means that we somehow have to tokenize the donations because we don't want, for the charities, it's really important that there is a real stability or a real visibility in the funds that they're going to get. So if we were to allow to just convert donations into Ether, say for example, right now it would be amazing because it's shot up in the last couple of months. But if the price suddenly crashes, that means that the charity can no longer pay the staff that is working on this program. So we ran part of our pilot within the Financial Conduct Authority's regulatory sandbox, and essentially what we're doing is we are just pretty much issuing e-money on the blockchain so that the value of it remains stable. That means that we can play around with it in our smart contracts and offer all the transparency that we were explaining before. It does mean, though, that we are acting as a concierge for the time being. Again, I can only echo the previous comments. Donors don't really care that they are using blockchain technology. Therefore, each time that they donate, we create an Ethereum account for them. There's a little geek mode on the website that allows you to take control of your account and play around with it. But essentially, for them, it's transparent. And because of the limitations in terms of the scalability of the blockchain, we are still actually doing double accounting. So everything is registered on our servers as well as being registered on the blockchain. Simply put, when we did the tests, if you get thousands and thousands of donations on any given day, those can't sync automatically on Ethereum. So we've built a system that allows that synchronization to happen with a delay, so it's asynchronous, basically. But the plan is, little by little, as the technology matures, that we can have full integration into Ethereum. So as I said, this is our first product. It is live. You can donate right now. Just go to Alice.si. SI stands for social impact. If you're a bit of a blockchain geek, you know that Alice is always giving money to Bob. And we're all about giving. So there you go. And if you have any questions either now or later, after the event, then please get in touch, Raphael at Alice.si, or to make it really easy, Alice at Alice.si. There we go.
Lovely. Quick question for Raphael. Dave, right at the back.
If all the transactions are stored in your database, what's the point of the blockchain? Sorry, I missed that bit at the beginning.
Yeah, so
Is it just for marketing, or is there some purpose to it?
of course, pure marketing. Pure hype. What I was explaining is that at the moment we have to do double accounting. We have to register those donations both on our servers and on the blockchain because of the problems of scalability. And what I was explaining is that further down the line we want a full integration with Ethereum, but the way that we're doing it is that because everything is registered on the blockchain, when it gets registered asynchronously, it still offers that amount of that pure transparency and the auditability of what is going on in the charity program. So there are limitations to our use of the blockchain. We do have a hybrid system that facilitates that, but we see it as our decision was to try to roll this out to the mainstream and not just to crypto geeks. And then little by little fully integrate into Ethereum as the technology matures.
One more.
So earlier you said that you don't pay charity with Ether.
Yeah.
So does that mean that you're using the Ethereum blockchain just for the execution of the smart contract rather than the monetary side of the blockchain? Well,
so when you donate, we essentially issue a token that represents that donation. So it's pegged to, it's a stable coin really. It's pegged to the value of the donation. That token is what is used in the smart contracts. Then the charity will receive that token when the outcomes are validated. They actually receive those tokens and they can exchange those for the equivalent value in fiat, in pound sterling.
Thanks, Raphael. Could we save any other questions for the break, because we're still running a little bit behind, trying to catch up.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Raphael.